Well, the trouble I had last time using this with the aluminum things, I was worried that when I heated it up it would pull out. I didn't have that problem. It didn't pull out, it pulled in. So I ended up having to make custom upper cross shafts. I made them to a custom dimension over what these cross shafts will normally be made to. They will normally be made to match the stock one perfectly. But if you can see that, they're a little bit shorter. And I basically made them to that dimensions to fit the arms after they were welded. So this time, I want to make sure that I have something there to keep the tubes, the bushing tubes, from pulling in. I can still use this. I'm not too worried about that. I also have plenty of 1.5 inches. What I'm thinking about doing is turning this down, because I don't do anything to the inside of these. The 2-inch DOM with a quarter wall, the bushings fit perfect. Okay, so I don't want to have to bother doing anything to the insides. There we go. So what I'm thinking about doing is turning the bar down enough to where it slips in and becomes a good close registration. So basically I can put the tubes over the bar, and then what I'm looking at doing is taking this, since it is the same ID as these tubes, once I machine this down to fit inside this, I should be able to cut and machine a piece exactly the right length that I need to fit in here to hold these apart. And then what I'll do is I will machine straight up the sides there, and when I machine that out, I should be able to just drop this tube right over that bar in between the tubes. For the outside, haven't quite decided yet. I may just simply take 2 more pieces of tube, put some caps on them, drill and tap a hole in here, and then I can just squeeze everything together with the caps. So I'm going to take some light cuts. I'm not going to worry too much about you know, tool flex, run out, anything like that. It'll be within a few thou. So I'm going to take a little skim cut on this side, zero out my DRO, and then I'll go to the other side and get it set for the 5.2 and cut it to that exactly. And that ought to work nicely. And the stuff down the center, I can literally do that eyeballing. I was thinking about putting in a chamfer tool or countersink tool or whatever, and oh, you know, I could cut that off flat. So just since I don't want to catch my jaws, I'm going to touch off there, move the handle again. I should be able to do the cut all the way down and not worry about hitting the jaw, and then I can move to the other side. That's more like it. Nice. I'd prefer to have it weld like this, so that way I don't get weld spatter, dingleberries and all that kind of stuff in there. So that works out good. Okay, next up is to turn this down. You can see, can you? It doesn't quite drop all the way down, which is no big deal because what I need it to do is to fit inside of these. Belly block. And these should be 1.5 inches. Nominal. Yeah, they're like 3 to 5 thou under. 3 thou under. It's DOM, so it should be a pretty consistent sidewall. Although, yeah, they're all about 3/1000 under. So if I cut it to 1.5, obviously that's not going to work. I'm going to have to cut it like 4.995, maybe even a hair less. I don't want to get these stuck on here. And I decided what I'm going to do is, I've got it marked so that when they're together, I'll drill and tap a hole in each end. Doesn't even have to be a very big one. 1/4 20, 5/16, something like that. And these will actually be past it, and then I can just put a nut and a washer on there to pull everything together. And I like that idea instead of having to make cups to go on the end. Just a lot of work for nothing. So let's put this in the lathe and see if we can get it down to a better size. Oh yeah. Oh, and that's good and tight. Nice. It'd almost be better. I think I got a piece of muffler pipe out there. And if it will slip over this by chance, I could do the same thing I did here. And then I could slip it on and I could just push these up against it and they would be in the right spot. And then all I'd have to do for alignment is get the plate where I want it. Yeah, so let's give you an idea. This is 2-inch ID. It's a coupler. So if I go get 2-inch ID muffler pipe, and I only need, you know, a foot, less, whatever. See, look how nice that fits in. So all I'll have to do is cut it, and then I may use the mill to make the ends parallel to the exact length I need, because that's still easier than trying to do it on the lathe. Look at the spacing here. You know, I'm off a little bit centering this on here. Not a big enough deal for me to worry about right now, but for the next ones, because this dimension here between the two is critical, because I want this custom control arm to be able to replace that factory one. Okay, I want them to be interchangeable, and if I build it as such, then my arms can go on factory 620 spindles. You're going to have to put these spacers in for them to fit the bolts right, or put them on a 620 and then they match up. So I'll pull these sides in, you know, like a 16th thou, or not 16th thou, a 1/16 of an inch. I'll measure the differences there, and basically what I got to do is in CAD I've got this distance set at 5.7, which isn't right. It needs to be 5.6. So I'll change that up a little later. And really all I'm looking at right now is I should probably wash these and clean them up a little bit. They're kind of dirty for doing some TIG welding. So, and I need to do that flap wheel grinding to get rid of the die marks on it. I'm halfway through this thing already and figured, well, I might as well turn the camera on. This is another piece for the upper control arm welding contraption jig, whatever you want to call it, fixture. The full width is what I need to hold the gussets apart, okay? I notched it in here because that will help center the main plate. I can't have it wrap all the way around. I gotta slice it. Well, I figured doing it this way to slice it, I left a little tab at each end because then I can come over to this side and cut a bunch off before it squeezes. So I'm going to go to the other side and basically do the same thing, and then I'll carefully nip these off. I could even pull it out and cut them with the bandsaw or whatever, but I'm still going to want to clean them up inside a little bit. So. Since the majority is cut off, I think I'm just going to go to the end there and see if I can just get it cut loose. This is going to get hammered flat anyway, but I think we can clean up a good bit of this on the belt grinder. Oh yeah. Okay, that's not too bad. That's a start. Plan is that I can squeeze it in against that to hold those at the right distance. Doesn't look so much like that's going to help me center the whole thing, but clamp these in, then that'll hold this because of the tab. See how the tab's overlapping in there? Yeah, so that's why I bent it out, because since I grind a V in there, or a chamfer for welding, this will get me started here, and that spot behind there will just have to get done after it comes out. Really shouldn't affect anything. Like I said, I'll probably build a better jig later, but I think this is I think this will do the trick for now. That looks nicely centered. That's holding it pretty nice. I'm pretty pleased with that. Yeah. Don't have to be too bright to be me.